Welcome back to Mamta Nirval tutorial. And guys, in this video we're going to continue the same chapter, which is chapter number 9, and the name of the chapter is the living organism characteristics and habitat. Till the terrestrial habitat we have already discussed in the part 1, and this is the part 2 of this chapter. Okay, in this video we will focus on the some aquatic habitats. Okay, what kind of adaptation do a animal or plant require to stay in a aquatic habitat? For example, first habitat is the ocean we will considering. Okay, oceans. In the oceans, if a animal need to survive, what kind of adaptation it require? First is the streamlined body. Okay, this is very important. If a animal is living in a water, so they can easily move because of that streamlined body. Okay, so to move easily the animal requires streamlined body. Second thing, the animals which do not have that streamlined body, like squads, they do not, or we can say that octopus, they do not have streamlined body. How they can survive or how they can move? So because they do not live on the surface, the octopus or squids do not live on the surface, they stay deeper inside, they stay deeper in the oceans, near the bed of the oceans. Okay, near the sea bed, we can say that, near the sea bed. Okay, now but normally they can walk on the seabed normally, like a normal octopus walk. But if the octopus need to move from one place to another in the water, he also change their body or make their body shape as the streamlined body, so that he can easily move in the water. So it is very important, a body should have a streamlined body which is required to move in the water. Okay, first adaptation is the streamline. Second adaptation is the gills. If an animal is living in a water, he need to take oxygen, which is already dissolved, which is dissolved oxygen. Okay, dissolved, and just a second, dissolved oxygen in water. Okay, so gills are the organs which help them to absorb the oxygen, the dissolved oxygen of the water. But there are again some exceptions, like in dolphins and whales, they do not have gills in them, they have lungs. So how they breathe? They breathe through the nostrils, or we can say that blowholes present on the head of the portion, located on the upper head, on the upper part of their head. Okay, these are the nostrils or blowholes present on the upper part of their head, and from where the dolphin or whale can breathe. Okay, but they cannot breathe under the water. They come out on the surface, and they breathe the air, whatever how much air they need to breathe in. Okay, so time to time the dolphins and the whales will come on the surface and take the respiration, or do the process of respiration, breathing process. Okay, now second is the pond or lake area. Okay, pond and lake habitat is the aquatic habitat. So the aquatic plants, they have what kind of adaptation? First of all, roots. What is the function of root? To go to the deep in the soil in the search of water. Okay, first is the to absorb water and minerals from the soils. We require these kind of changement, or this is the function of the root. But the roots of the plants which are present in the pond or lake area, these roots are reduced in size. Okay, and their main function is not to not to absorb water and minerals. Their main function is to hold the plant in place. That's the main function of the plants which are present, main function of root in the plants which are present in the pond or lake areas. Okay, what are the adaptation in the stems? The stems are long and hollow, as well as light in size, in weight. Okay, they are very light, hollow, as well as long shaped. Okay, the stem will grow to the surface. Okay, and here the leaves and the flower will float on the surface. This is the stem and this is the root. The main function of root is to hold the plant to a particular place, and the leaves and flower will be on floating portion on the surface. Okay, so some plant which are submerged, if the plant are submerged, that means the plant which are present inside the water, these are the plants. Okay, what kind of adaptation do they have? They have leaves adaptations. Okay, leaves adaptation, because their leaves are divided. Why they require to divide so much? Because the water current need to be put more force. If the leaf are so big, so the force of the water will break that leaf. If the leaf is like this in shape, so the water will pass through easily. That's why the submerged plant have the leaves adaptation, that leaves are very much highly divided, so that the water can easily pass through it without damaging them. Okay, so these are the adaptation in the plants. In the animals, like frogs, if we talk about the frog, what kind of the frog is live in the pond area. We mostly see the frog in the pond area. They stay inside the water as well as in the land. Okay, so they can live in water as well as on the land. Okay, what adaptation do they have? They have very strong back legs. They have very strong back legs that they help them to catch the prey. What these help? They help them to catch prey properly. Okay, other thing is the webbed feet. They have webbed feet which help them to swim in the water. So these are the adaptation what a normal frog has to live in a pond area, in a aquatic habitat. Okay, now we have already seen all these adaptations. That's all we need to study about the adaptations. Now we will talk about the characteristics of organisms. Okay, how we can say that this is a living organism and this is a non-living organism? How we can classify or differentiate between them? Okay, this is not easy to decide. We cannot easily decide this thing. Like in plants, what you say, they are alive. Plants are alive, but they cannot move like dog and pigeon can move, but plant cannot move, but still we are saying that they are alive. Like plants, an animal grows. Okay, they grow in size, but we can say that the clouds in the sky also grow in size. So can we say that the clouds are also a living organism, or we can say that a living thing? No, clouds are non-living things. So how can we decide, how can we distinguish between a living and non-living things? So first of all, first category is first characteristic is the food. A living organism require food. They need food. Okay, all living organism require food in any condition, or we can say that in any form. It can be a organic form or it can be a non organic forms. ठीक है. All living things need food. Or in case of plants, they make their own food with the help of photosynthesis process. Okay. And animals depend on other plants. Animals depend on other animals, as well as the animals depend on other plants for their foods. Okay. What the food do? Food is need energy. We need energy, and the energy is taken by from the food by the digestion of the food, and this energy will help them to do the life processes. All the processes which we require to do on our daily basis, all those processes are considered in the life process, which we require energy, and for those energy we need to eat food, or intake of food is necessary. So one concept is very clear, like all living organisms should have or consume some amount of food. Second is the growth. All organism grow. Okay, like if we talk about pups will grow into the adult. Okay, normal a chick which is just hatched, that chick will grow into a cock or a hen. Okay, so everything grows. Like a plant, a normal plant will grow into a tree. A normal young one, or we can say a normal baby, a human baby, grows into an adult. So every living organism grow. That's also a characteristics of living things. Okay. Third thing is the respire. Like every living thing respire. Okay. What is the respire? Is the breathing process. Okay, they do the breathing process. That means inhale and outhale of the air. Okay, first the inside, the oxygen is taking inside our body and carbon dioxide is removing from our body. This process is known as the breathing process. Okay, this is a breathing is a part of respiration. Okay, it is a part of respiration. We cannot say the respiration and breathing is the same process. No, respiration is way much different. Through respiration we finally obtained energy. Okay, energy from food which we have consumed. So respiration is the process through which we finally get the energy from the food, but the breathing is the process in which we take the oxygen and take out the carbon dioxide from our body. Okay, the process of breathing is similar for all the organisms, like cows, like buffaloes, like if we take an other example, like other animals like dogs, cat, or human, they have same structure or same process of breathing. But there are some exception in here also, like the earthworm. They do not have same breathing process. They breathe through skin. Okay, like fish breathe through gills. Okay, or in case of plants, they breathe through leaves. So all these have a different process or different area from there they breathe, but the respiration is required. So to respire is very important characteristics of a living organism. Everyone require respiration. Next we can say that fourth characteristic is respond to stimuli. Okay, that means if we if taking an example, we walk on thorns. Okay, these are the thorns on the ground and we start walking on it. So what happened? We can feel that thorns, the pinch of that thorn in our feet, and that feet will give us a response, and we will remove our feet from that thorn portion. Okay, so this is the every living organism has and respond to a stimuli. Okay, like normally if you think about your favorite fruit, what happen? Your mouth start watering. Why? Because this is a response to that stimuli. That stimuli is your thinking about your favorite food. Okay, what else? Like normally if we are sitting in a dark place and suddenly we need to go to a bright area or bright sunlight, then what happened to our eyes? Our eyes suddenly shut themselves. Okay, on the spot they shut themselves, and automatically they will adjust themselves within some time, within few moments they will adjust themselves, and then they will open in the bright light. So what is this? This is the stimuli. Stimuli is the high light which is in the bright area, and the response is to shut that eye. The eye just shut themselves, and automatically for a moment till they adjust themselves according to the bright light. Okay, so what is the stimuli? What is stimuli? Stimuli is the change in our environment that make us to respond. Okay, whatever the changement which we are doing in the environment or our surrounding. Okay, all those in through which we are making any response, or to which we are making any response, are the stimulus. Okay, like behavior of animals when we give food to them or serve food to them. So if we are serving food to a dog, the dog will start moving their tail very oftenly, very frequently. It start moving their tail here and here and here. So what is this? This is the behavior, or the stimulus is the food and the response is the movement of that tail. Okay, like normally flower, some of the plant have the flower which bloom only and only in the night time, blooms in night times. So why? Because the stimulus is the sun, which because of which when there is sun present in the daytime, the flower will not bloom, they will become a bud like structure, or they close themselves. But in the night time, when the stimulus will gone, they will bloom again. Or sometime we can say that there is a plant which is mimosa plant. Okay, there is a plant which is mimosa plant, which is also known as the touch me not plant. Okay, this plant is this kind of a structure. They have this, and what happen if you touch that leaf, any of the leaf, the plant will start shutting their leaves and close them up. Okay, so this is the response. We touch, our touch is the response, our touch is the stimuli, and in response they close their leaves. So this is how every living organism has a response to a stimulus. Okay, fifth is the excretion. Like every living organism produce some waste, and that waste should be excreted out from our body. Okay, so the excretion, it is a process of getting rid of waste water, getting rid of waste water or material, whatever, of an organism. Okay, so in plants, from where, what you see, like in animals we can see that they normally urinate and they normally use to dung as a excretion. But in plants, can you see any excretion? Yes, plant also do excretion, like in some kind of secretion coming out of the plants. All these are the plant excretion. Okay, and other thing is also sometime plants store their waste in the plant part itself. Okay, they do not throw that portion outside their body. What they do, they do store in that. Like normally this is the leaf, and in this leaf they start storing all the waste, and after some time this leaf will fall down and all the waste will get out from the plant, or the plant will get rid of the waste. Okay, so this is how normally plant also excrete. So this is also a characteristics of a living organism. 6 is the reproduction, reproduce their own kind. This is also very important for a living organism. If a person is living, they need to be reproduced. Okay, it can be, the reproduction can be in many ways. Maybe it can be the, like normally animal produce egg, and through that egg the young one will produce, or animal can by themselves just produce the young ones, like human. Like in human case, they produce young one directly, and in hen they produce the egg first, and then egg will become mature, and the chick will hatch that egg and come out. Okay, so this is how it can be on in different ways or different mode of reproduction. In plants there are various modes, like in vegetative propagations. So like normally they can produce through the seed, or we can say that like potato, like taking a example of potato, through buds. The normally the plant can also, like this is the potato and this is the bud portion, we cut that bud portion and grow them separately, so we can get a two plant of potato. Okay, they will grow up separately. So this is how, through the budding, also through the bud, by growing with the bud, vegetative propagation, we can grow the plants, as well as with the help of cutting. Also cutting, like in rose plant, we cut the rose plant stem of the rose plant, and we will put it in the soil. After some time you will see that the rose plant will grow, or the roots will coming out of from that stem, and the normal rose plant will, you can see them. Okay, so this is how a plant also reproduce in many ways. So the in living organism there will be requirement of having a reproduction of their own kind. Last is the movement. The animal or the organism, if they are living, they should show some kind of a movement. Like in animals, in case of animals, you can see many body movements. Okay, or you can say that movements which you can see when they, just a minute, the movement. Okay, body movements is like the movement of the blood, or the movement of the food, digestive food, or whatever else. Or we can say that like one place to another, if a person need to move, this is also this kind of a movement you can see. But what kind of a movement a plant can do? Normally plant do not show any movement, they will fix to a place and they do not move to another place. Okay, but normally what the water mineral or food, they move from one part to another of that plant. So there are some kind of a movements also. What else movement? Like opening and closing and closing of flower. Okay, like in day timing they are opening, or in night time they are opening, or normally first they become a bird, and then bird will bloom and become a flower. So all these are the movements, and they also show growth also. Like in normal plant they are very small, and after that they become a tree. So that's also a movement you can see. Okay, and else is the response to stimuli. How you can say response to stimuli? If you keep a plant in a area, a dark area, this is a normal plant you have grown in a dark area, and here is the window from where you can see like sunlight can come from here in this area. So the plant will turn themselves, and now the stem will become tilted toward this area, because this is the response to the stimuli. They require sunlight, and the sunlight will come how it will come to the plant. The plant will turn themselves or tilt themselves toward the sunlight. So this is kind of a response they can show. Okay, So we can say that only, not just one thing, like all these 7 points should be present in a living organism, then we can say that organism is living. Or if these all 7 points are not present, we can say it as a non-living thing. But it's still not very easy to say all this. Like a normal moong dal, like we are taking a moong dal, that seed is present in the seed is living, as we all know, and there that seed is present in the shop or left or stay in the shop for months. For months they do not show any movement. There is no excretion, no excretion, no growth, no growth, no reproduction, nothing you can see in that. But still, why you can say it is living? If you bring it to the home and put that into the soil, then from that seed a plant will grow up. So that's why we can say that this is a living. But the living thing also do not show any of these also at a point. So this is not a very clear concept, or we cannot characterize to say that these are the things which will make a organism living, and these are the characteristics which make a thing non-living. Okay, so this is a controversial concept as always. So this is what all in this chapter. I hope you have understand all the concept. If you still have any doubt, please ask me in the comment box. And if you like my videos, please give a thumbs up and subscribe my channel. And thank you guys for watching this video.